two board members. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, let me try calling Ms. Goldberg and Mr. Snyderman to see if they're able to join us. And maybe that way we don't have to wait that long.
Okay, I just got a message. Can you send Bebe Carol, Miss Alexander, the link, please?
Yes, she has it. You might want to tell her, Viviana, to check her calendar, not her inbox, but her calendar, because once she accepts it, it goes directly to her calendar. Because she is invited. I'm seeing here the WebEx. But I don't see she accepted it, so I don't know.
If you resend it, it'll go on top of her email. I think that's what she's wanting. So I guess she just might not want to look for it.
Let me send her the link again.
Or it gets lost, right, in all our emails.
Yeah, with all the emails,
yeah.
right.
So, yeah. Miss Patty did join us already, so you have 3. So if Carol joins us, you'll have your quorum.
Very good.
Oh, and I see Kirby also has joined us.
Very good. Hello, Kirby.
Sorry for being late. We have our technical committee meeting for the MPO at the same time, but I was able to present a couple items and then pass it over to one of my staff.
Great. Well, actually, your arrival. Do we have quorum now?
You have quorum. You have 4 members already.
Very
Yes.
good.
And I just sent the information to Ms. Alexander again, Viviana, if you want to let her know. It's on her email.
Okay, so let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Call a meeting of the Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone Number 1, City of Laredo meeting. Today, May 11th at 2:37 p.m. to order. Let's go ahead and have a roll call.
Ms. Patricia Goldberg. I see her on. Mr. Arturo Garcia, he won't be joining. Mr. Jose Castillo. I see him on as well. Mr. Kirby Snyderman.
Present.
I see him on. Mr. Henry Sauvignon.
Here.
Mr. Jose Ceballos, he mentioned he won't make it to this meeting. And Ms. Carol Alexander. I don't think she's on yet, but you have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. So the next, that was item 2 on the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the minutes. We need to have approval of the minutes of the April 13th meeting. They were sent to us already. Did anybody have any corrections or comments to the minutes? I just had one minor comment or correction. Either you meant Ms. Frank or Mr. Rothnowski, I'm not sure. But on item 5 of the minutes, third paragraph, you say Mr. Frank. So I think you meant one or the other, and I'll let you correct the one that. Other than that, I didn't see anything else. Did anybody notice anything else? Sensing no other corrections or additions, I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept the minutes.
I'll second that motion, Kirby.
So you're making the motion. Thank you.
Second the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda, citizen comments, item 4. Citizens are required to fill out an online witness card no later than 12:45 p.m. and can be found at the City of Laredo's website. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No more than 3 persons will be allowed to speak on any side of an issue. Speakers may not pass their minutes to any other speaker. Comments should be relevant to the city business and delivered in a professional manner. No derogatory remarks will be permitted. Do we have anybody that signed up for comments?
No, there are no comments at this moment. They do have up to 2:45, so they have an additional 5 minutes. I'll let you know if there's any other comments at that time. And just for the record, also Ms. Alexander joined the meeting.
Very good. So for the record, Carol Alexander is now in the meeting. Item 5, introduction of new appointee to the Tirz board and discussion of future appointees.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to give a bit of an update. This might not be news to most of you, but so we currently do not have a city manager appointee. Mr. Arturo Garcia has retired for the city of Laredo and has retired his position. Also, Mr. Kirby will be I believe this might be his last meeting with the Tirz. And I know there will be a transition in the planning department with the appointee of an acting planning director. So you will have a new face maybe for the next meeting, which will be Ms. Vanessa Guerra. Those were the updates that I wanted to give the board. Also, just the other update I just wanted to give in regards to I guess I can mention this just right now. I'm also going to be transitioning Ms. Nadia de Leon as staff liaison, and I've invited Mr. Edgar Campos from our office. Him and myself will be the staff liaison for the Tirz board.
Okay, I'm sorry, did I understand correctly? Nadia, you're going to be transferring?
From this board.
Up to the department, but not with the board.
Okay, very good. Well, I wish you the best of luck in whatever new project you're joining. I mean it sincerely when I say that we've appreciated your support and your help on the board, and that and certainly I welcome. I'm sorry. Is it Edgar Campos, Mr. Campos?
Yes.
I welcome Mr. Campos to the role. I will warn you, you have some very large shoes to fill. And so good luck and wish you the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I very much appreciate it.
And along the same vein, Mr. Sneidman, I just, I said this before and I'll say it again. Your contribution to the board has been significant and is insightful. And obviously, you know the subject, so that's been very helpful. I wonder if you have any words of wisdom for us before you totally depart from the board.
Henry, I'm disabling my video so you can't see me crying. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I very much appreciated working with this body, and I think y'all are doing a lot of great work. And it was fun for me to be able to be at the start of this project as a consultant who helped with the market study, with the creation of the Tirz, and the recommendations that are part of the plan there for the Tirz. And now to be able to have worked on it these last couple of years, we've come a long way. And I really want to, if anything, Henry, want to say that you have done a fantastic job. I hope you stay the chair for a long time. You play a great role in mediating a lot of different opinions. It's hard sometimes to be able to do that. And you've done a fantastic job. So appreciate everybody's time and service. The things we do here, they really do make a difference. Sometimes, the complaint from the public is always, things happen too slow in government. Things happen too slow. They're designed that way. They're supposed to happen slow. Things, especially when we're talking about making permanent changes and spending public money, it's supposed to happen slow and get a lot of involvement, get a lot of thought and participation, and we make those decisions methodically. So for any of you that, because I've heard it like, it's taken so long for us to get where we are. It's all right, it's a 30-year Tirz, and there's a long history ahead in redeveloping the downtown area of Laredo, and we're doing a great job. We are right on target. If you look at the other Tirzs in the state and how long it takes for them to really get going, we're actually ahead of the curve. In just a couple of years here, having some capital projects that we're moving forward. So credit goes all around to the board and also to our consultants here, Able Cities, who've been helping us and guiding us as well. So it's been a pleasure to serve with y'all, and I regret that I have to go, but I'm sure we'll keep in touch. And Henry, you didn't tell me about the barbecue. I didn't get a follow-up text saying how amazing it was. So I'm a little nervous. You didn't like my barbecue.
Actually, as I told you, I had a lunch commitment, and I wanted to let you know that I actually had 2 lunches that day. It was excellent. I'm sure that'll be a no surprise to anybody, but it was an excellent barbecue. Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation and all.
I'm glad you made it.
And please feel free to accidentally pop in on our meetings every once in a while if that's possible.
Well, there was something that Nadia read about no derogatory comments, so I don't know if I show up, I'll be able to speak as a private citizen without being able to swear. But maybe
That's right.
Maybe.
That's right. Very good. I don't know if any other board members have any comments.
Tina, this is your cue for telling everybody how much you're going to miss me. Tina, that's
Yes. No. Of course, Kirby, you will be missed. Kirby, you will be missed. Let it be known on the record that
Okay.
Kirby will be missed.
Yes, Nadia,
Yeah.
please write that down.
Very good. Thank you very much. And so we'll go ahead and go on to the next item on the agenda, item 6. Discussion with possible action regarding the downtown Tirz #1 project as prepared by Able City. Board member comments regarding the information presented and any other matters incident thereto. And so what I'd like to just start off, so that what you have on your screen in front of you is the presentation that was made to the college, the Board of Trustees at the April 21st meeting. As a matter of fact, to my surprise, I didn't expect it, but it was interesting nonetheless that we were the only item on the agenda, so the board convened to listen to this presentation. And if you've didn't catch it on public access, certainly I'm sure there's a recording of it, but it went as well as the presentation we made to the council when we presented for the bond issuance. It was met with some very positive comments. There was a request for information, and I'll restate it in a while, but I'll let Able City make any comments or very briefly go through the presentation to get so that the board gets a feel of what was presented. I'll pass it on to Able City. And you're muted if you didn't know. Able City.
Okay, got it. Okay. So happy May, everybody. The presentation, as Henry said, went very well. Carol Alexander was present. Frank Rotnowski was present. Of course, Henry did a fantastic presentation, and so did Carol Alexander. She spoke well as well, and everybody was received. I don't know why this is not going down, Frank. Do you understand? Okay, I'll do it this way. Much of this you've already seen. We changed up the PowerPoint so that it would read. Actually, what we did is we met beforehand and took about 10 slides out. But we presented a lot of the information that you had already been presented before.
This one in particular was a different, going back to the prior one, was a different slide that you hadn't seen, because what we wanted to convey to, that was presented at the council meeting was this slide, where we wanted to convey to the college that the Tirz was one of several important zones in the district, in their area, that it was not just Tirz, but that there was a neighborhood empowerment zone, there was historic districts, et cetera, et cetera.
We spoke about the inspirations. You've seen this before. We talked about the projects and showed them. This is an abridged part of that presentation that you already saw. but they were taken through the tour and explained the investment that the city also was contemplating, well, had approved. We talked about signage a lot because it's something that's very important to the board. It's very hard to find signage that leads you to, in fact, there's you can get an exit from the highway. It'll tell you Fort McIntosh and Laredo College, but once you get off the highway, there is no way of knowing how to get to the college. And then obviously, as you leave the college, even though it takes you downtown, it is a detour to from Washington Street. There is no signage telling you where you are. They really liked this slide a lot. Henry did a very good job in explaining that. I don't know what happened to the other side of this. This is weird.
I think if you click it again, it'll appear.
Yeah, but not in this presentation.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. So Henry did a really good job of, oh, there it is. Okay, it actually works. Of explaining all the ins and outs of Tirz's and how they work. We gave them an example of what the first year would look like, which is a minor contribution of approximately, I guess, somewhere between, let's say, $27,000 and $30,000, but that's the base year, and it would grow from there if we're doing our jobs right. And this was the final, no, it was not the final slide, but this was basically the ask. Really what we're asking to do is to vote. This was just a listening meeting, so the next time it would go on their agenda is so that they vote to begin an interlocal agreement with the Tirz. They put that together, and then it goes back to the board for a final approval. There was a lot of really good questions. And Henry, I don't know, is there something you want to say about the questions?
Yeah, no, the questions were excellent. They were very insightful, asking how it affects them, how would we be interacting with them, and that's when Able City was clarified that an interlocal agreement would be signed in order to include their participation. What they did ask is they were interested to know what are the current projects going on in the downtown, current and the most recent projects, investment projects in the downtown area, such as the investment that's going on with the cathedral, the Tirz project and what we plan to invest. And so we explained that what we could do is we would ask, and I'm going to require or need help from the city on this, but basically a list of projects that are going on in the downtown area, whether they be City of Laredo investments or they be private sector investment in the downtown area, but to give them a feel for what's been going on in the downtown area in terms of helping to influence and change just the area.
And they also asked for the values, like not only the project itself, but what kind of investment were the different entities putting into it.
Oh, that's correct.
Because I remember them asking about the mall, the outlets.
No, that's correct. As a matter of fact, that was the primary example we used. And so they said, in addition to that, what other kinds of investments have been going on downtown? And so we told them that we would try to start a list. And I think we compiled a brief list, but like I said, it was the outlets. We talked about the Tirz, we talked about the cathedral project. Someone mentioned the investment that La Posada has made in terms of developing its property, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe we can talk about putting together a list of that sort. I can start a list and maybe circulate it and we fill in the blanks.
Well, the building department could help us either through IT or the building department itself, you know, with a list of all the building permits that have gone out in the area, including for street improvements and any other project that has been started or anticipated. We know the list of improvements that are going to happen in the buildings, and of course we know buildings, and of course we know to be embarking on space. And so it's quite a list, actually.
Chairman, Mr. Henry, we did receive the request.
Yes.
And we have passed it on to management. So we're just waiting for his directive. That way I can forward it to the departments that would need to submit that information to us.
So it was an email. I did send out an email.
Yes, we received it. We received it and we put it in a form of a memo to city management so that they can direct us or approve the request so that I can ask different departments to
Tina,
compile
do you have that
information.
request in front of you?
No.
Do you
I don't.
remember what you asked, Henry, in regards to the building department?
I'm glad to hear that I'm on the ball. I just don't remember what.
Because I
It's a
think
little
there might
table.
have been a little miscommunication, because what I heard, the scope of what was being asked, it would take a lot of effort on the building department. It makes sense that you're only asking the activity that occurred in the Tirz, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, I think the communication was more than that, significantly more than that. And what you're asking is relatively simple if it's just in the Tirz.
Yeah, no, we're looking for we were talking about the downtown area, and what brought around that question was a discussion of tipping points. How many projects does it take? And there's no magic number, as we explained at the meeting, but that it was a layering process, and so then that's when I think that prompted that question. Very good. I will, now that I know that has been submitted, we'll wait to hear and get that information. Okay.
Henry, I don't know how to raise my hand.
Okay.
Can you all hear me? Am I still muted?
Yes, I can.
Oh, hi Henry. Thank you, Kirby. I couldn't figure out my equipment here to thank you and say that I've learned a lot from you and I'm sorry to see you go. But Henry, I'm on that list of projects that are happening downtown. I wonder if there's any way that we could also enlist or include the assistance of Laredo Main Street to kind of, I know that part of their mission is to revitalize, right, the area, and having that list, they do a quarterly report that they submit to the Texas Main Street, and some of that includes the improvements, and I'm wondering if we could maybe include that and let Priscilla know that we're trying to get that list together.
That's a good idea. And so what I'll do is I can find the email I sent out the first time, and I will make sure that the Main Street gets it so that they can add their comments to it as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just forwarded that email to you.
Thank you very much.
So, if we can go on to discuss their next steps, we're.
Can I interrupt with a
I'm sorry.
question, Viviana? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
The thought just occurred to me, Henry, do we have a presence on the web? We're creating a lot of good material and presentations, and now we've got proposals. Do we have a web presence? And I ask because our planning department, we recently redid our website, and as staff, we have we no longer have to go through IT to make changes to our website. We did it. We had a consultant do it on WordPress so that we could take it over. So I could volunteer a staff member here to help set that up, just a page for the Tirz where we could start putting this stuff online, because I think as we move forward, there's going to be more and more interest of, hey, okay, what's going on? Where do I go? And we can point everybody to this, planning / Tirz.
Very good.
Really
So,
easy URL.
so the short answer is yes. I'll take you up on that offer to set up that basic page. It was brought up by Able City in their description when they first created the proposal for the work that they would be doing it for us. It's not something we checked off the box immediately, because at that time we had a few more direct deals that we needed to work with, which we're doing right now. But yes, I'll accept that offer, and then I know that we can just add on or change that.
Okay, I'll set it up and I'll email it to you and the board so y'all can take a look. And as you get more ideas and want more on there, you can contact our staff and we can put things on for you.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you.
Also, I just got a message from somebody who is an administrator for the Downtown Laredo page on Facebook, and they're willing to help as well.
Great. So Viviana, you were going to say you were going to be adding to your comment.
Well, no, what we're going to discuss now is basically there's a couple of things that we have to do. We have to commence a draft of an interlocal agreement with the downtown, between the downtown Tirz and the city of Laredo. That basically comes, at the same time we can be working with the Tirz draft of the RFQ that I believe you were going to forward to RIA, Henry?
Yes.
And we can start working with them on preparing for advertisement. But we definitely need to get that interlocal agreement. Now, Frank did speak to, RIA had suggested to Henry, to Mr. Sauvigny, that he talked to Ramon Chavez, and we talked to Ramon Chavez, and he gave us some direction. He didn't think it's a problem. He asked us if we would give him a draft of an interlocal agreement, which we can, and just to get the ball rolling. Anything else you want to talk about, Ramon?
Well, I think you mentioned, yeah, we're going to prepare a draft for him to review, and also I'll be sending him the draft public information for the actual selection of the civil engineer. His comment was, that's great. He'll be, of course, they'll be happy to assist and run that with us. But of course, get your interlocal agreement up and running, and right behind that, we'll follow up with the request for proposals from civil engineers. And so that was our conversation.
Very good. And that was the direction I received from the city manager's office regarding the steps to take and how to proceed. So I got some good direction from Assistant City Manager Mia, and you're following up on it. So that's perfect.
Yes. And basically, I guess we will prepare that for you and for them. Is that correct? Is that what you'd like us to do?
Yeah. Thank you.
Talking about the interlocal agreement, we can get some examples.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Any other discussion on this issue? Those are two important next steps that need to occur before we can move forward. And so the sooner those work and we move forward with them, the better for us all. Any other comments or discussion related to the presentation made or the comments by Able City regarding the next steps?
Well, after this, we need to go over the community engagement phase.
Okay. If there's no other discussion on this particular topic, we'll go ahead and continue on the community participation phase. Go ahead.
So we have, I think, if the process of 2 focus group meetings and 1 in-person event, which I'm sorry Jose isn't here because I think he was going to try and handle that part.
Yeah.
But and then 1 online meeting after that, essentially that's basically the scope of this particular phase. I suggest that we set up a meeting in 2 weeks from today, with the first focus group. We haven't received too many names yet from the group on who would be in here. I think Ms. Alexander was working on some names.
Right. So the subcommittee who volunteered to work on this was Mr. Snyderman, Ms. Alexander, and myself.
Mhm.
So also Kirby, if you haven't submitted any names that you suggest that we add to that list of community people we bring together, one final assignment, we'd appreciate it. Thank you. And this doesn't have to be anything formal, Kirby, just submitting a few names that you think need to participate so that we don't leave out important voices in the community participation of this. And keeping in mind that it doesn't have to be exhaustive because there's going to be a second and third a couple of other meetings, but we want to get the ball rolling with certain people. Okay, as soon as now, Vivian, did you mean that we as a committee would meet in the next few days, or
No.
we would just submit the names to you and you would organize it?
The names, and I'll do a draft of questions that people can add to, and then we
Okay.
can just do the first, just say the first kickoff meet, or sorry,
Okay.
the first meeting of the focus group is in 2 weeks. Bar something happening, we can move that date, but
Okay.
we're gonna have to start getting in touch with people and finding out if they can make it on that date. They're going to be, it doesn't have to be the same focus group people, but there should be some overlap between the 2 meetings, definitely.
Okay. Right. And what I meant to say there on that other part was that not that it would be 2 different groups, but if we didn't get everybody in the first meeting, we can certainly make sure they get into the second meeting. Because
if you think I'm doing this too fast, I can add another week to it, but
Yeah.
let's just,
It's up to them.
it's up to you all.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that if you can move it forward,
Sure.
we'll work with you.
Okay.
So
That's all
board
on
members,
our end over here.
okay. So those board members that at the meeting, and actually other people that are participating, and certainly I'd like to welcome Teclo to the Teclo Garcia to the meeting. Thank you, Teclo, for joining us. We invite you as well if you think there's anybody that should be in these outreach meetings for the Tirz as we describe the project and what we're going to be moving forward with. Your input would be valuable to us as well.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hello, Vivian. Hello, Mr. Frank. Kirby. Also, Henry, if you allow me just to say that I too am going to miss Kirby. I applaud his courage and his doggedness in all this process and sticking to his guns and his philosophical way to approach planning. So certainly appreciate all his input over the last couple of years.
When an economic development director says they appreciate your courage, that's I get it. I get it. And no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, we can limit. We can. Nadia, I'll let you decide what you include in the minutes. Okay.
Interesting one.
Very good.
Definitely paraphrase. We will definitely paraphrase.
Very good. Okay, so then, are there any other comments about who we need to participate in these outreach meetings. I know, Carol, you're sending information to Frank and Viviana. Patty, I encourage you to do the same. If any names come to mind, let's just get this out there by email. What I would appreciate, anybody submitting names, is if you do me the favor of just copying me on that, just so that I see the input that's coming in. I know that a final list will be shared by Able City, but I just like to see the discussion as it's occurring. If you'll all do me that favor, thank you.
Henry, Chairman, what I did want to mention was on scheduling and meetings. We were advised by management that as the city business is starting to open its doors more to the community, that we are going to be allowing all our boards and committees to determine if they want to continue a WebEx meetings, if they want to continue in-person meetings, or if they want to do some sort of hybrid. It is being right now the next steps to reopening is going to allow the boards and committees to determine what that looks like for your meetings.
So you brought this up before I did. Actually, I was gonna ask this question towards the end when we were discussing the next meeting, but that's actually, you beat me to the punch there. My question to you all was going to be if we could have a hybrid of a kind of meeting, let those that are comfortable come together, and let's call a face-to-face meeting for our next meeting. But I'll bring it up towards at that time. But that's exactly what I was going to say. Very good. Is there any other discussion on item 6? Sensing no further discussion, we'll move to item 7, discussion with possible action regarding the monthly invoice submitted by Able City. And so you should have received in your packets as well the invoice from Able City that included their fees for the period from April 11th through May 11th. It included fees from Marge Darcy, who assisted us in the preparation and attended the meeting of Laredo College with us. For a total of $3,477.50. Is there any discussion or any questions of Able City on the invoice? Would anybody like to make a motion that we approve the invoice as presented?
Motion to approve invoice as presented.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Very good. Yes.
Viviana did send me the Marsh Darcy invoice, the one that Marsh Darcy sent to them. So I have that. I didn't include it as part of the packet, but I have it in case anybody wants to take a look at it. But it was part of the summary that I sent.
And if you'll attach it to the invoice, I'd appreciate it.
Correct, yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. But before we adjourn, then I'd like to propose to staff that you please assist us with coordinating our next meeting, which is set to be on, what would that be, June
8th at 5:30 p.m.
June 8th at 5:30 p.m. And that be a face-to-face meeting with the option of attending virtually if someone's not able to attend. What room are you all using, or what rooms are you all proposing for this?
So the rooms that can allow for a hybrid would be our conference room, which I think is where we used to meet, our community development conference room at 13. Remember my address, 1301 Farragut.
1301 Farragut.
I mean, the other option would always be City Hall. So I can check those two availabilities for that day, or do you all want to stay at community development the way that we used to do it?
Community development is fine as long as we're able to get enough people there with social distancing. How many would it allow with social distancing?
Our conference room has 15, it's a 15 room capacity.
Including social distancing?
No, social distancing, I mean,
Will there be are there social distancing rules just still in place, right? No?
correct.
They're out?
They're just
I see Mr.
recommendations.
Seidman saying no.
I mean, the
No,
recommendation
as long as
is,
you're wearing the mask, you're good.
yeah, the recommendation is to continue wearing your mask.
Got it.
And we can skip a chair if that's what you feel comfortable with.
Okay. Which means 8 of us can be there nonetheless. So, okay, very good. So then let's go ahead and offer that option if that's okay with everybody. And again, no, if someone does not feel comfortable yet attending face to face, then join us by video conference. That's fine.
Henry, before
So,
we adjourn,
Yes, please.
may I I went ahead and created that page. I just want to show you where y'all can go. If you go to the planning department, and I put it under the projects tab. And if you, now there's a downtown Tirz page.
Very
So
good.
I just did a search online looking for any of the documents, the Tirz plan, feasibility study, the market study, the map. None of that's online. So whoever has that, if they can send that content to me, and Viviana, if you can send me the latest content that we want to get up showing, maybe there's a few presentations we've done, and we can get all that. I'll put all that information up there so that it's accessible. And if the public, anybody needs to know where it is, planning department projects, downtown Tirz, all of it will be right there where we can then, and I'll have a staff person here that you can talk with if you ever need to modify, change, get new stuff up there. They'll do it.
And City has the appropriate in addition to the presentations, they have the appropriate maps of the downtown area that we, where that show the Tirz and everything. So yes, thank you. Able City, if you help us with that.
Send that to me and through a link to the cloud, something that I can download, because it won't go through if it's over 20 megabytes.
So, but in what format do you need it in? Do you know?
Just the PDFs of the documents
Yeah.
are just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll put all that up.
So we'll send the maps that we've been showing. We can also send the package that we're preparing right now for the RFQ of the schematic design work that we all worked on together. I'm trying to think what else you all would like.
The
Well,
presentation.
I'll go through it, and we can, now it's really we can click on presentations and they can go through the presentations. It's not really like
Right.
just a picture.
Right.
They're,
Well, that's why I'm saying we should send the PDF files of what we're about to send out.
You
Because
just
those are
send the
more like
PDF.
pictures.
I can create pictures from
Yeah,
that.
you can work with it. Okay.
okay.
All right, we'll get it to you.
Very good.
Sounds good.
Okay. Are there any other comments, questions? Then I'd like to entertain a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Sir, second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Bye, Kirby.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.
Bye, Kirby.